Unfortunately, I was not planning on making this video, but our time bomb just went off. I'm going to show you the warning signs that I should not have ignored and the maintenance that I should have been doing to make this last a little bit longer. And also what I'm really excited about is I'm going to rip into this thing. Tank water heaters are actually pretty simple, and if you don't know it, this is actually not the tank. This part here is a metal jacket that is protecting the tank, and there is a layer of insulation. And behind that is the actual tank, which could be 30, 40, 50, or even 60 gallons. The way that these work is the cold water comes in from the top, and then there's a tube that puts it in at the bottom so it can be heated up. Then we have a heating element down here. Ours is gas, but you may have electric. And then whatever the temperature is set at for that perfect Taylor Swift solo in the shower, then you heat it up until it gets to that point and it rises up, and then it will come out over here on the hot side into your pipes as you call for hot water. So as we think about maintenance and longevity, the first thing you need to know is how long should a water heater last? And the general consensus is that they will last 8 to 12 years, depending upon the model and some of the different things that they might have in them to ward off corrosion. If you've bought a house and you've not replaced the water heater and you don't really know how old it is, here's how to find out. Every water heater should have a little spec sticker on here. Basically says the manufacturer, serial number, model, capacity, and a bunch of things there. Now, some of them might actually have the manufacturing date right on the sticker, but most water heater manufacturers actually put it into the serial number. It's kind of like a code. You have to break it like you're in National Treasure or something.
It's a cipher.
Yes.
See how the letters are coupled?
This is a Bradford White model that was here when we bought the house. And so I went in and looked it up on the internet. And it says the first letter in the serial number is the year that it was made. So it says B is 1985 or 2005. Since this house was built in 2006, I think, we're going to go with 2005. The second letter in the serial number here is the month of manufacture in alphabetical order. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, 8 August. So this was manufactured in August of 2005. So this thing's about 18 years old, and so probably 17 years of use. This guy was definitely on its last legs, so I'm not surprised at all that it failed. But if you have one in your attic or inside in a finished area, then you're really going to want to start thinking about replacing it once you get past that 12-year mark, depending upon how well you're maintaining it. It's better to spend the money a little bit earlier than to have to spend a lot more money once it busts and ruins a bunch of stuff. Now here's the crazy part. Obviously, I turned the water off when this thing was leaking everywhere, but I went to turn it back on just to see where it was leaking, and guess what? It's not leaking anywhere now. I have no idea what happened. My guess is just that the sediment and rust just closed the hole up. So maybe for a water heater bust, just turn it off for 2 days and it'll work. But we're still gonna definitely replace this. So when I take this thing off, I am going to cut into this thing and we're gonna find out where that leak is, see what we can see inside, and what 10 years of neglect looks like. Another warning sign that your water heater is getting on its last legs is signs of leakage. And you can see that here on the water heater. Obviously something was happening up top. And also if you look under where the igniter is, you can definitely see some leakage there that's kind of all rusty. Let's look up top and see where this leaking has come from. So there, oh wow. Let me get my camera and show you what's going on up here. All right, so up here, I don't know why that looks black. And this valve right here is obviously leaking. That is water. And this is my water pressure regulator. So that's reducing the water pressure coming in. But the back of my expansion tank, that is just rusting straight through. This looks like this is about to bust at any minute. So yeah, this is definitely a mess, but nothing else on top that would really show me what's happening down below. So I still think the tank is also leaking. So I need to take down the old water heater, but to do that, I've got to drain the water and undo some of those connections. And that is the perfect time to show you the 3 major things that you should be doing to maintain your water heater and what I should have done. I'm gonna start off at the top, back at that expansion tank, because there's some things that you can do to see if it's still working. So if you've ever wondered what this little tank is on the top of your water heater, that is the expansion tank. And basically there is a rubber bladder right in the middle. So there's water on one side and air on the other side. And the purpose of this is as the water expands, like I talked about when it heats up, and as the water pressure rises, then it can flex up and compress the air because water is not compressible, but air is. So there's a little Schrader valve on here, which is the same valve that is on your car tires and your bicycle. And I've got a little tire gauge, and I'm gonna put that on there and see how much pressure we have. So that is kind of what I expected. We have zero pressure because water just came out. That is probably why it is rusted on the top side where the air should be. So what that means is that bladder has ruptured and the entire thing is full of water. So for maintenance, you do want to check the pressure on the tank, and if water comes out, you know it's time to replace it. That is not surprising at all. Now, if this wasn't full of air and it read, say, 30 pounds and I had 50 pounds of water pressure in my system, then I would use a hand pump to pump up that air spot until it gets to 50 pounds of pressure. So you really just want to equalize that, and I'll show you a little gauge of how you can check your water pressure at your faucet. To check your house water pressure, you can just get one of these little pressure gauges, and it has a little hose adapter right here that you can put on a hose bib outside. So I can just screw this on. Now I can just turn the water on. So we've got about 50 pounds of pressure, and the recommendation is 40 to 60 pounds, so we're right in there. So I would want my expansion tank to also be at 50 pounds. And the next thing we need to do is empty the water heater, and that is a great thing for maintenance, is flushing your water heater yearly. But I need to start off by turning off the cold water to the tank. But now we have a little hose bib here, and you can run a hose to that and run it outside. I'm just gonna go into this bucket for the time being, just to see how funky it is. All right, let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, be careful while you're doing this. This is very hot water. I was expecting a bunch of sediment and things to come out, but it's just a little bit brown water. If your hot water heater is as clean as this, you know, it's almost like I've been doing this every year. Oh, this is draining okay, but if you open the hot water faucet side on one of your sinks, then it'll go a lot faster. Honey, turn on the hot water. Myth busted. You don't have to drain the whole tank, just until it goes clear. And I actually attached a little hose right into my sink because I've got it here. Towards the bottom of the tank, we did get a little more brown. There's definitely gonna be some sediment in there. I can't wait to see what it looks like when I cut it open. Now, the third major item on maintenance is checking your anode rod. And the anode rod is typically up at the top of the tank and is basically a sacrificial piece of metal so that it will corrode that versus corroding the outside of your tank. Now, the interesting thing is, I do not have an anode rod on this hot water heater, so I don't know how that works. I've always seen them have them, but this one doesn't. And I'll show you some pictures here of what that does look like, but basically those last 1 to 3 years, depending upon the hardness of your water and the minerals and all that. So that's something that as it gets eaten away, you want to put a fresh one in, and hopefully that keeps all the rust and corrosion away from the interior walls of the water tank. Now for this last one, there are some differing opinions, and that is your temperature pressure relief valve. And this valve right here, what this does is basically, if it gets to be too much pressure inside of the tank, it will open up and let the water out and the pressure out with it. And if you don't have one of these, if you seal it up, that's how the Mythbusters got it to explode. So these are very, very important, but I know a lot of people don't like to test this yearly because once you test it, it has a tendency to leak. And that is another maintenance item that if you are leaking out of this down tube, then you just change out your TPR valve. But I'm actually gonna open this up because I can still hear water in the tank. I can kind of hear it bubbling. So I think there's some kind of like pressure lock in there. And I know the water should be below this. So hopefully when I open this up, that allows the water to flow the rest of the way out so I can get it removed. Let's see what happens. But you just pull it up to test it here. Oh, I can hear the air going in. And here comes the water. There we go. Hey, that worked. Look at that. I guess science is good and well. That's pretty cool. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to replace almost all this, and I did find a leak on the water pressure regulator here. So I gotta take all of this apart, starting with some of the fittings here and empty out the tank. And obviously shut off your gas valve before you mess with any of this gas going into the water heater. Now, a lot of these fittings are corroded, so to help bust them loose, I'm gonna be using some WD-40 Specialist Penetrant from today's sponsor, WD-40 brand. I'm gonna start by taking off this expansion tank. Specialist Penetrant is perfect for busting loose those rusted and corroded fittings, and you can use it on metal and plastic and rubber. It's safe and it won't damage any of it. I also love this 2-in-1 can with the attached straw that you can just flip up for a nice tight stream, because I cannot tell you how many times I have lost that straw in the past, but I think it's like 100%. If you want wider coverage, you can use the spray option as well. It's perfect for nuts or bolts or locks or threads, and it works on contact. It also leaves behind a lubricating layer, so it'll be easier to remove the nut the next time. WD-40 brand has a whole line of Specialist products, including dry lube, white lithium grease, and rust remover soak, which are some of my favorites. You can check the links below in the description to see where you can pick some up for yourself. And a big thank you to WD-40 brand for sponsoring today's video. Woo, sweet mama. Oh my gosh, I don't know what was going on with the expansion tank. And look at the water that came out when I drained it out. That is disgusting. If that was all held up in the tank or what? Oh my gosh. I've got everything disconnected. Now it's time to get the water heater off of that stand. It's up there like 18 inches. So I basically built like a set of cornhole boards, but it's just MDF with some little 2x4s to prop it up. And I'm just gonna try to like shimmy it down the ramp because my 14-year-old son is at camp. And so the muscle's not here. So here we go. We'll see how this works. We're gonna add a centerpiece. All right. See how it is now. Oh yeah, that'll do. We don't have any water, so I can't surf. Seems like a bad idea. Well, Lottie frickin' duh. That worked amazingly. All right, here's this nastiness I was talking about on top. Oh, look at that. I don't know what's going on, but I cannot wait to cut into this bad boy and see what's actually in there. But let me get this other one up here first. All right, I got the new hot water heater. Let's see if it goes up as easy as the old one came down. Oh. Oh, gosh. Come on, baby. You can do it. Oh my gosh. The burn. All right, this is the part where I potentially get killed. Oh. There we go. All right, so now I need to plumb this thing for water, and I'm actually gonna be doing it with copper. I was gonna be using one of these little shark bite things with the connectors, but this water heater is actually taller than the old one, so it just wouldn't work. But honestly, I'm really happy with what I came up with, even though it took me a long time. So I'm gonna sweat it all together now and hope it doesn't leak. All right, that should do it. Now we'll put the cherry on top. And I already loaded it up to 50 PSI. All right, we're all hooked up, but there are 27 different joints that I sweated, and I am 97% sure that at least one of them is going to leak. But you know, stranger things have happened. Let's go here first. We'll just turn on the cold water. That's my water going down here. I thought I had that closed. Amazingly, I'm not seeing anything leaking yet, but this is gonna have to fill all the way up, I think, before we can like pressurize it. It's looking good. Miraculously, none of the soldering joints are leaking, but each of the thread joints is leaking just a little bit. I used pipe dope, and I guess I should have used thread and pipe dope or screwed them down tighter. Yeah, we're gonna fix that for a later day. I need a hot shower. But now, I think it's time to rip into that old water heater. All right, we're gonna tear into the water heater, but I'm gonna do the expansion tank too. And I tried to throw a screwdriver into it because it's all rusted out in this one spot, but apparently it's not that bad. So I'm just gonna draw a little line on here and we're gonna cut a little section out so we can see what it looks like inside. All right, and we're going full safety patrol also. Be safe out there, folks. Yes, gloves too. All right, I think I've got it open now. Oh, that is so cool. Take a look at this. All right, it's kind of hard to see this, but inside here, it's got all this water. I'm gonna pour that out. Oh yeah. So this is supposed to be the upper side because there's our little nozzle right here, but obviously that was completely filled with water. And this bladder is supposed to be here in the center, and this is where the water should be up in here. So I think the water just got around the side. I'm gonna start by ripping the top off and seeing what the insulation is inside. And it looks like it's foam. Looks like there's some spray foam right in here. And then this is fiberglass. And this is like in a bag. So I'm assuming they put the bag in there and then just fill the spray foam around All right, I put these back on just so it'll help me move it around, but I'm just gonna cut down here and see if we can rip off the jacket. All right, that went pretty smooth. This jacket should just come right off. Oh yeah. All right, let me turn this thing around. And you see what's going on. Check that out. Check it out, you can already see some of the rust and moisture that's in here. There's all kinds of moisture down here. So, signs of that leak. All right, let's see if this will just start. Oh man, that is really on there. Oh, here we go. Aha! Oh yeah, there's the tank right there. All right, you can see a bunch of rust on the outside of the tank. See, it's wet right here. Water was definitely collecting there. So the leak was probably somewhere over here, and that's where it was probably coming out. Oh, this is nice and juicy. I think that leak was a combination of this guy and this guy here. The whole jacket is off. Now I'm just gonna cut the hole in there where we can see all the sediment down in there and what it looks like. We're almost there. All right, let's pop the forbidden cookie jar. Oh, 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 oh my gosh. Oh, that's pretty disgusting. All right, check this out. I didn't know there's a middle pipe here. Oh, that's the flue. So that does the combustion gas. That makes sense. And then right here, this is the bottom. And you can see all the sediment, but honestly, that is not a whole lot. I'm kind of surprised. What is that? That looks weird. It looks like some kind of crazy barnacle or something. But oh, there's the leak right there. You can see right down there at the bottom, all that is just corroded, and that's where the pinhole leaks were coming from. That was sending all the water down. So there you go. It was definitely time to replace this one. If you want to see some other videos where I'm fixing things around the house, I got a playlist queued up for you right there. A big thank you to the FTBT Builders Club. I'm Brad. Get out there and build something awesome.